All right, gang. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So core today will be about an hour. We did some sales training over the last 4 or 5 correlations, so I'm going to do a little bit of mentality. I'm going to go through the 6 cycles of change. Some of my guys have already seen this. I just wanted to kind of review it with everybody. It's an important kind of thing to keep in mind, right? It's going to have to do with grit, toughing things out, going through hard things. It's a cycle that I see people kind of relive and relive and relive and relive in their lives. I'm talking to a few different guys right now that just kind of ping pong around life, and it's just this need to try and find the easier, softer thing. So we'll talk through that with the 6 cycles. I did a podcast with Tai Williams last week in person, absolute goat of a human being, just a master at, creativity in life and the industry just in general. And we were talking about purpose and goals and some of these different things. And he said the thing that you need to start focusing on is like, one, what is your purpose? So I want you just to take a second and I want you to think about what your, let me frame this. Why are you here? Why are you here right now? Why are you in this room? I would imagine it's because somebody told you there's some type of opportunity here to do something with yourself, to change something about you that would change something about your life. Maybe it's, I want to buy my mom a house. Maybe it's, I want to change my children's lives. Like the purpose, the thing that drove you or inspired you to be here in this room, to be present, to try and figure out like, why am I doing this? So just take a second and I want you to think about what your purpose is. For me, just to give you, my purpose is so that my daughter doesn't live the life that I lived, and I create different opportunities for her, right? So I want you to think about your purpose and I want you to write it down on your phone. Okay, when that's done, I want you to ask yourself, why? Why is that my purpose? Write the answer down. Doesn't have to be long, because I'm going to ask you why again. Why do you want that? Whatever you just wrote, why do you want that? And this will get easier each time you do this. And then a third time, why? Why do you want that? Now, did that go a little bit deeper into the thing? Did it make you think about the thing a little bit more? We need to ingrain our purpose. So I'm going to kind of restructure what Tai talked to me about. We did a podcast that's getting edited. I have to send it back to him. He has to give it to the Sunrun lawyers. They have to approve it. Then it's going to come out. So you'll get to listen to Tai explain this in one of the most eloquent ways ever when the podcast launches. But I wanted to talk about it today. Okay, so let's say we have a young boy. And the young boy grows up playing football. And his dad played football. And he's playing football. And he's going to go to high school football. And he's going to go to college football. And he's going to go to the NFL. That's his purpose in life. And it's ingrained in every aspect of who he is. And in high school, somebody comes in. It's really, really hard to get a scholarship for college. I don't care. I don't care. What do I have to do? You have to train. You have to be on the field before. I'm there. When? 2 hours, but I'm there. How many? Well, these guys are training. I'm going to train 4 or 5 days. I'm there. And then he does it. And then he goes to college, and it's really, 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 really hard to get into the NFL. I don't care. What do I have to do? Well, you have to do this, and you have to watch tape, and you have to you have to train, you have to eat, you have to have I don't care. Good grades, I'm going to do my food, I'm going to do my training, this is what I'm going to watch tapes, I'm going to watch tapes. I don't care. What do I have to do? It's hard. I don't care. It doesn't matter. His purpose is so big that it doesn't matter what the obstacle is. It's irrelevant. The obstacle is part of the process in gaining what he needs to achieve to fulfill his purpose. And I see guys, I want to change my kid's life, but you ain't doing anything about it. I want to buy my mom a house. When? How? How are you going to do that? I'm going to be great at sales. Have you picked up a book? No, but I'm going to be great at sales. I'm going to be you. Do you know what I went through? No, but I'm going to do it. How? I don't know. Well, it's really hard. You have to master door knocking. Well, listen, I mean, I'm knocking 2 hours a day. Okay, so you'll catch up to me in 30 years. How many books have you read on sales? Well, I got an Audible, but I haven't listened to a book yet. Okay, you'll catch up to me in 50 years. You'll never be me or catch me because you're not doing any of the things that I'm doing, because my purpose is so much bigger than yours. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care how bad it sucks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care about the fear. I don't care about the financial insecurity. I don't care about the discomfort. I don't care about the pain. I don't care about the depression. I don't care about the anxiety. I push through. Because my purpose is to change my daughter's life generationally, and nothing will stop me. Not 9 felonies, not 9.5 years in prison, not drug-addicted childhood, not anything. No excuses, no family matters, no deaths in the family, no arguments, no conflicted relationships, no people fucking me over or screwing me over or doing. I don't care. I'm gonna move through. I'm coming, period. And here I stand. I'm in the proof of action. So think about your purpose and think about your actions, because what I see most often in my life is what we call cognitive dissonance. I think I'm this and I think I want this, but my actions are all the way over here. Those two things do not line up. I am not doing the things necessary to become the person that I want to become to fulfill my purpose. You know why? Because your purpose isn't big enough. Because if you really wanted to build your mother a house or buy her a house, you'd die on the field doing it. You'd die on the field doing it. If you really wanted to change your children's lives and make them not have the opportunities, give them something new, you'd die on the field doing it. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen this job kill anybody yet. Right? So just wanted to fire you guys up with that, with purpose. It's going to lead into the six stages of change. So I saw Joey, what's his name with the nose tape? Alex Hormozy do this training, and I love this training. So listen, guys, this is the first stage of change. Okay? I don't know you. What's your name? Julian. Why are you here? When somebody talked to you about this, did it sound impossible?
My story's kind of unique.
But when you just heard about the opportunity in general, did you think, I can do that?
Yes.
Okay. That's called uninformed optimism. That's what it is. It's uninformed optimism. And I want you to think about this. Troy had a cash machine business. And I heard about it and I'm like, how much do you make? He's like, I don't know, like $6,000 a month. And I'm like, what do you do? He's like, not much. I got a marijuana shop that allowed me to put a cash machine in there and people just cash out money and I rake up the change. And I'm like, that sounds easy. I want to do that. Well, now everybody go out today and go and try and find a marijuana shop who's going to let you replace their ATM with your ATM. Go and try and find a casino who's going to let you put your ATM in there instead of all those other. But it sounds easy. Who's heard of like a multi-level marketing? And some guys talk to them and they come and they go, listen, I got this product. And what we do is you just get your friends involved. And I made $500,000. And you made $500,000? Doing what? These oils, bro. The girls, they sprinkle them everywhere. It fixes everything. And you're like, what? And you're like, yeah, all you got to do is give everybody the oil and they'll sign up and then boom, lots of money. And you're like, that sounds easy. Everybody wants the oils, right? And they're like, yeah, it fixes everything. Sign me up, bro. I want it. Is everybody kind of relating to what uninformed optimism is? We don't get into a thing because we're like, okay, so, hey, Lee, we're going to sign you up to be a doctor, a heart surgeon. I'm like, no. That sounds impossible. I hate school. I hate biology. I hate blood. I hate guts. I don't even want to do that. The reason that we get involved in doing something is because it sounds rationally possible. It sounds invigorating. We believe in something somebody else said about the thing that sounds attainable to us for us to do it. And then what do? We go do it. We're like, let's go. And you get on doors and you're like, that was crazy. That looks super easy, Joey. All you did was talk to him, and he said I didn't want it, and then you said why, and he said a couple things, and then he said, okay, I'm going to sit down on Saturday. This is great. Has anybody else seen anybody on doors and kind of thought that? Yeah. And then what happens? Informed pessimism. Oh my gosh. This is really, really, really hard. I just got my teeth kicked in for 2 straight weeks. Everybody hates my guts. They think I'm stupid. 4 people had chihuahuas. 2 people had a gun. Everybody keeps telling me to get out of their neighborhood, and they've talked to 35 people of us, and nobody wants it, and everybody hates the solar. This is hard. This is way harder than I expected. That's uninformed pessimism. Now you start to realize, oh wait, I don't just get to buy $500 in oils, and I've talked to all my friends and nobody wants to sign up with me to sell the oil. Oh, I bought a cash machine, but I don't have anywhere to put it. Oh, I started a Shopify store, but nobody's buying my stuff. The guy on YouTube said I was going to make $500,000 this year. This is hard. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. Does everybody relate to this feeling in their life? Has everybody gone through this in some aspect of their life? This is human behavior. This is what we do. And so when we talked about our purpose earlier, you're going to start to see some of this bleed in here. Okay? So the next thing is what? Crisis of meaning. Who's felt any of this before? Why am I even doing this? This is stupid. I hate this. This is the worst job I've ever had. I'm not as good as anybody else is doing it. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make it. Who's had these feelings? Who's had these feelings in this job? And I got news for you guys. They never go away. I've had guys, and including myself, who have had their best year, and the next year told me it was all luck. I'm thinking about, starting we're going to go sell fake grass now. I'm like, oh, crisis of meaning. Like, why am I doing this, right? And so when we look at these things and we really take them into account with our cognitive behavior, we have to start seeing what's coming next, right? Because this all leads everybody into 2 places. There's 2 places that this goes, but only 2, okay? The next stage is going to be crash and burn. Who's felt this before? I'm done, I quit, it's miserable, I'd rather find something I'm good at. I'm nowhere near as good as anybody else. I can't get a set to save my life. I've knocked a whole month and nobody wants it. They all hate me. Solar's stupid. I have to quit. I can't stand this anymore. I'm financially burdened. I'm overwhelmed with stress. I'm depressed. I can barely get out of bed. Oh my God. Who's felt this? Yeah, these are relatable. And what do you think people do here normally? They quit. They quit. And then what do you think they do? You got a cash business? Where do you work? They flutter off. This is called looking for the easier, softer way. I see this in our industry. I see this almost every day in recruiting or training in my current position. I see this almost every day. I got an idea. We've all done this. I'm going to go sell, here's the new one, ready? I'm going to go sell internet. Why? Fiber sounds easy. It's not that easy. It's so easy. How many did you sell, bro? Oh, you sold 50? You were gone for 3 weeks and you sold 50. How much did you make? Oh, like $200. Wow. Where'd you have to go? East Coast. The doors are softer. They are? Yeah. Everybody wants it. Okay, I can do that. I hate Illinois. It's cold. This is way harder than I thought. Not everybody wants the fiber. They like cotton. And this is this trap. And it's a revolving cycle in the majority of people's lives overall. In their relationships, in their education, in their fitness, in their family, with their children. This is just who you become. This is who you are. You're a person that's just fluttering through life, constantly looking for the easier, softer way. It's depressing. It's not fulfilling, right? You are whole people, meaning that you're holistic. You have a mental, a spiritual, a physical, a social, and a financial aspect to who you are as a human being. Those things need to be fulfilled for you to be happy. Money doesn't create happiness, but if you're in the pursuit of gaining the knowledge to become an earner, or you have goals that have to do with money, money just buys stuff. It can buy freedom. But it's not what creates happiness. Happiness is created from fulfilling who you need to be mentally, spiritually, physically, and socially. Like mentally, am I learning? Am I growing? Am I gaining knowledge as a human being in my personal, in my spirit, am I gaining knowledge? Am I learning how to deal with relationships better? Am I learning how to be more cultivative to my family and to my friends as a human? Becoming more educated in psychology and how I react and how I look at, that's a mental, and that bleeds into spiritual. Do I feel, God is great, but when we talk about spirituality and these types of things, we just have to talk about, do I feel fulfilled spiritually? Am I happy? Is my spirit happy? Do I have a good friend group? Do I treat my family well? Am I honest? Do I have integrity? Do I feel like I'm giving? Another thing that Tai said that really, really hit me is he said, you should want, and I've never heard this put this way, but when you're gone, everyone should think it was better because he was here. Because the opposite of that was really glad he wasn't around. Or he made everything worse. And drama and conflict, and then always this. You want to be spiritually fit means that everybody thinks it's better that you're there. It's better that Lee came in. It's better that Lee was in the room. It's better that I had Lee to call. It's better that we were friends. He changed my life. And that's how I feel about the people that are in my life. And so I feel my daughter's healthy. My wife is healthy. My relationships are healthy. Spiritually, when I look inward at my life, I feel spiritually fit. But those things come from doing hard things. They come from challenging myself. And then work, which goes into finance and social, right? This is a good social group here. I'm around good people. I don't allow bad people into my life. But if you can start to match all of these things up, my mind, my education, my spirituality, social, economical, my physical, you should feel healthy as a human being. You want to be a healthy human being. You want to live. If you're doing all of those things, money should just come if you're in the pursuit of it in some essence. I never like to make money the quantifier of all things good, because it's not. But it is a consequence of doing, just like brushing your, like having teeth in your mouth right now is a consequence of brushing your teeth for your life. If you do these things, the money is bound to happen if it's on a goal list, right? And it's a matter of getting out of this cycle mentally, spiritually, and emotionally by checking into that. And what is the common denominator? Doing hard things. The next level is informed optimism. You only gain informed optimism once. Now, I once heard crash and burn called the valley of despair in another training similar to this. And people get into the valley of despair and it's the woe is me and I'm not good enough and I can't do this and everybody's better than me and they were working 6 hours a day, but they're so crushed now they're only knocking 2 hours a day, and then finally they're knocking 1 hour a day, and then they're knocking 2 hours a week, and then I quit. Not me. I knocked 10 hours a day in alarms. I was the #1 rookie in the United States for Vivid in 2017. I sold more accounts than any other rookie in the country for one of the largest sales organizations in the nation. And it for sure wasn't because I was better. I worked my ass off, just like I do now. Just outwork you, because my purpose is bigger. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how bad the financial insecurity is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. When do I need to be at practice, coach? Here, 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 here. Okay, I'll show up a half an hour early and practice on Saturdays, because I refuse to believe that the thing that you can do, I cannot do. I refuse to believe it. It's impossible. Because we're not talking about heart surgery. We're talking about, hey, how you doing today? Good, man. My name's Lee. How about knocking a door and pitching a product? You're not going to beat me, life. You're not going to beat me, opportunity. I don't care. The example that Tai used was a kid who grew up and wanted to climb mountains and was going to go climb Mount Everest. And they said, base camp's hard, don't care. Trek is hard, don't care. Might have to stay down there 3, don't care. It's -0, don't care. No oxygen, don't care. People die every single year, I won't. I don't care. The consequence of climbing Mount Everest if you fail is death. Death. You will die. And there are human beings who forego the possibility of that consequence in order to achieve their purpose. So when I tell my crews I'll die right here on this battlefield before I'll quit, we just had one of the hardest years of our lives. Personally, some of my friend group. And I'm here winning right now. The oxygen was low, and I passed a lot of dead bodies. And base camp was long, and it was cold, and we were fucking hungry. But I'm here. And so when we talk about purpose and understanding this, until you come to a point in your life where you're willing to go to any lengths necessary to achieve your purpose, you will never achieve your purpose, and you will always go and look for the easier, softer thing, period. It's who you become. On the contrary, the more of these macro wins, the day-to-day, the grind, the pushing through, the never quit, the I don't care, it doesn't matter. They build up and they start to turn into personality traits. It starts to recreate who you are as a human being. Now, you'll start to change your children's lives. Now you'll start to change your families because you're changing fundamentally as a human being into someone who is willing to pursue their goals to any lengths necessary. And it will start to become better that you're in the room. And what you'll start to see is, I didn't quit. Wow, I know how to overcome a smoke screen. And then I know how to overcome if I'm moving. And then I know how to overcome, and now I know what this is, and now I know what that is, and the training's really adding up, and the correlations are starting to matter, and I'm really understanding solar, and I start to understand economics. And when I'm having conversations with homeowners, I'm actually getting so much further in my conversation, in my pitch. And then one day you're like, oh shit, somebody bought it. Yes, I can do this. I can do it. Oh my God. It's a freaking miracle. And you start to see the improvements in yourself. The more I learn, the more I push through, the better I get. I'm starting to believe I can actually do this. My skills are coming together. And that starts to grow. Why is this ever present in who goes to the gym or doesn't? Sometimes I go to the gym and I use these examples, and you'll see somebody in the gym and they don't know what to wear, and they don't know what they're doing, and you can just tell, and they're kind of embarrassed. And they're, they got socks like up to here and shit. And, they're using machines weird and they're looking around, and in my brain, I'm just like loving this person. I'm just like trying to send them good energy. Like, so glad you're here. But that's not enough. They have to push through. And at some point, they start to understand the machines. And at some point, they start to see results. You don't go to the gym for a month and see results. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Not really. But at some point, they go to the gym and they're like, wow, my clothes fit different. Wow, I know so many more exercises now. I've been watching YouTube and listening to trainers, and I start to feel differently about my actions. This is the moment that motivation enters the game. It hasn't been present anywhere in here. Do you know what this is called? You know what it takes to get you through that? Grit. Grit. All grit. How tough are you? Because it's not motivating. It's depressing. It gives you anxiety. It's full of fear, anxiety, self-deprecating behavior. I suck. Until one day you're like, I don't suck as bad as I sucked yesterday. I feel better in this shirt. I gained some muscle. Right? These things are all relatable because when we scope this out to our life, in our relationships, every person, who's known this person? Every person I date cheats on me. Quit dating people that cheat. I don't know how. This girl looks really good. Oh man, she's a stripper. She won't do it. Like, oh, she says she's in the VIP room every night. Oh, she cheated on me. Right? That girl looks easy, right? It's like this thing is present in our lives in all aspects, right? And so when you understand it, it's like, well, I need to dig in. I need to have a different ethos, and I need to have grit until I start getting motivated. The motivation comes from learning, from education, from getting better at something, from feeling better about yourself because you worked hard at something and you're now seeing improvements. That's when motivation enters the game. And that's the multiplier. But you cannot get out of addition and into multiplication until you do the math problems necessary to get you to that point in the game. Does that make sense? After informed optimism is success. And success is a continually earned behavior. Every day. Every day. I'm going through some stuff in my personal life where I'm resorting my purpose. I have to stay a high value, mental, spiritual individual. I have to be high frequency. I have to beat life. I have to be successful mentally, spiritually, physically, socially, and emotionally, and financially. All of these things, I have to be successful. Why? No one will follow anything I say if I'm not. A leader with no one following him is just a guy taking a walk. For you to do these things, you have to become that person, and the success is won every day. Right now, the book I'm listening to, Becoming Supernatural with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm not saying read that book right now. It's probably better for you guys, but I need, in my life, at this don't lead others the way you need to be led. What I'm saying is I'm reading a book. I do breath work. I write my top 10. I have my goals. The stuff I ask you to do, I do. I check in. I go to therapy. I go to the gym. Everything I'm saying, I do. Actively. On a daily, bi-daily, weekly basis. To make sure that the success that I've earned isn't just the success that I've earned. That's not what I want. I want this and more. Life is about the experience. So there's no top to the mountain. This mountain that we're climbing is we get to the top of Everest and we see another mountain. I did a podcast with Jordan Benning and he said mountains after mountains after mountains. So just some basic stuff here. No one does care. Let me explain that for you. Do I care about you? I'm going to care about you as much as you care about yourself. Period. Period. The SEAL said it. The man who needs motivating is not worth motivating. I'm not here to drag you up Mount Everest. I'll leave you right there on the mountain to die. I can't want this more than you want this. But if you want it, just like Dr. Eric Thomas said, as bad as you want to breathe, I'm all in it with you. I care. What this means, the no one cares, is no one cares how bad it hurts. Yeah, me too. I have anxiety too. Yeah, fear too. Yeah, financial fear too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't want to go to the gym either every day. Me either. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to listen to it. Me either. But I do it. I subjugate my dislike of doing the things that I don't want to do in order to receive the outcome. And you have to do the same to get reciprocation. That's culture. That's community. That's social. Being around a group of people who are willing to commit to that level of life to attain their goals. If you start complaining about the mountain when we're in base camp, I'm going to tell you to go home. I came here to climb Mount Everest. You think it's cold? Yeah, obviously, me too. Right? So when we look at no one care, you have to print this into your head. Because when I think about my stuff, I'm like, nobody cares. Go get it. The world doesn't care if Lee is successful. Doesn't. Nobody's ever handed me anything. I've done a lot with the help of friends and colleagues and mentors, a lot. But everything I got, I earned because they thought I was worth investing in. We've heard this, embrace the suck. That's part of it. Like learning in that valley of despair, like this is the good stuff, man. This is where I get made. This is the stuff of warriors. Joey bought me that, The Man in the Arena. It's one of my favorite speeches by Theodore Roosevelt. And it just talks about the gladiator in the arena and all of the fans in the stands jeering and throwing mud and talking crap, but they won't get in the arena. They won't step in to fight the lion. So we don't take opinions or criticism from people in the stands when we're gladiators. We only listen to gladiators. And gladiators embrace the suck because that's where they know the lessons are learned. It's learned in beating the fear, beating the anxiety, overcoming all of it, learning, pushing past, getting a book, learning a lesson, knocking the extra hours. It sucks. Getting better at anything is uncomfortable until you're better at it. And then it doesn't suck as bad. And then you get better at it, and what do? You start comparing yourself to people who are even better. And you're like, man, I got to get even better. And that's the kind of success part, right? I did a podcast with Jordan Williams, Tai's brother, probably 3 years ago. And this is actually an Under Armour saying. But it's the only way is through. And he talked about this. And he was one of the... Jordan Williams is an absolute goat, a monster of a human being on doors. One of the best in the industry of all time, literally. A beast. I mean, this dude, if you want to listen to his podcast, like you just can hear it. But he talked about the suck and all of this stuff. And it's like, well, if my purpose is so big, what do? The only way is through. And so until you start to ingrain some of these things in your life, you'll never truly find success, because success is found in the hard things, in the monotonous things, in the day-to-day things. Knocking doors every day just seems like knocking doors every day until the point where you finally achieve something and sell something. And then the next point comes when you actually teach someone else to do that and get to watch them do it. And you're like, wow, I'm successful at setting and teaching. And then one day you close it, whatever. It's these elevated things that happen in making you successful in anything that you do. And these three simple sayings, like no one does care. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. This is up to you. And surrounding yourself with people who do that. So I love these. We're almost done here. Let that one sink in. Just digest that. So this is the becoming. This is the opposite. When I said there's two ways, this is 99% of people. They quit on themselves, they quit on their family, they quit on their education, they quit on their health, they quit on their finances, they settled in, right? What's the saying? Hard men make soft times, soft men make hard times. Who knows? Possibly, I did. I lived in a really mediocre life, even a really, really bad life for a lot of my life. I was in prison. And I don't say that to, I chose that. You really don't get any more mediocre than that. I was in there for 9.5 years. I went back 5 times. I kept choosing it. It's like when I talk to you guys about like breaking out of stuff and becoming, like I had to make a choice at some point in my life to change who I was fundamentally as a human being and excel at life and stop accepting quitting on myself, quitting on sobriety, quitting on God, quitting on my education, quitting on doing hard things. My cousin told me once, he died from heroin later, Lee, you're a great starter. Period. That never left me. I'm a great finisher now. I do now, right? So when I say these things, guys, I'm only pulling you back into my history, not to say anything cool or anything like that, but to tell you that I understand these things intricately and deeply spiritually because I've lived them. And pain and trauma and hardships, they're relative. Whatever you went through or you're going through is relative to my stuff. My stuff's not better or tougher or harder than your stuff. Your stuff is your stuff, and it's just as hard for you to get through your stuff as it was for me to get through my stuff. But I was listening to Joe Dispenza today. That's the beauty of life. That's why we're here. God gave you the choice, if whatever, the universe, your parents, you were created to have a human experience. And what you do with the human experience is your choice. You pick it. So at some point, you have to stop quitting and be somebody who just pushes through. So listen, these are just the basics, right? This is my favorite. There's only one way to get good at doing hard things. What is it? Do hard things. A lot. There's a thing that comes with this. I had the hardest year financially and in business that I've had in my entire business career. Outside of, I would say, my troubled past, like I would say I have 2 lives. Outside of my, youth and addiction and troubled childhood and all that stuff, and my next life, my more normal life, this was the hardest year in my more normal life that I've ever experienced in every facet that I could imagine possible. The reason that I didn't quit is because I'm so good at doing hard things. I would sit down and I would say, what do you do here? You do the work. What happens when you do the work? You get results. You're scared, you're fear, you're this, you're that. What do? Go to work. Stand up, go to work. Take massive action. Go to work, go to work, go to work. I have built up such a knowledge base and personal experience base that I know the only way for me to fail is to use drugs or to die. If Lee relapsed on drugs or alcohol, his life would go to shambles. If Lee died, the thing would end. Other than that, I'm gonna fucking win. Period. And I'm not gonna use drugs or alcohol because it's number 1 on my purpose list. Because my daughter's gonna grow up in a home that doesn't have drugs and alcohol in it. Excuse me. That's how big my purpose is. And I haven't died yet. And it's been hard, so I ain't gonna die, so I'm gonna fucking win. The only way is through. I'm not gonna go to my daughter and tell her, Dad failed. No. Right? So build up the hard things and realize that every day you're doing the macro. You're learning hard things. You're doing when you don't want to go, and you go. When everybody went home and you don't, you go. When you don't want to read a book and you do, you go. You learn, you learn, you learn, you go and you go, and they build up and they build up, and the wins and the knowledge and the belief system starts to gain momentum. And then one day you look around and you're like, I'm a different person. I'm a different human being. And I can tell you personally, I feel like I've had 2 completely different lives. When I talk about my past and my history, sometimes when I'm talking about it, it doesn't even seem real. I've had to do therapy for trauma, for PTSD, for all this, for behaviors and actions and all this, but that's because I'm going to get better at whatever I'm doing. And I'm not going to let my past define me. One of the things Joe Dispenza talks a lot about is if you get up every day and just reminisce on everything bad that happened to you, where are you living? In the future, in the past. You're living in the past. The feelings of the past are defining you. The feelings of the past are refining your decision-making process and directing you subconsciously. Because you get up and you look at your phone every day, and then the problems, and my mom did it, and you're just like, you're a shit. You're a low-frequency person living in your trauma. Getting low-frequency results with low-frequency goals, living a low-frequency life. You have to redefine that. And it's hard. And I've done it, and I'm doing it, and I do it every day, and I do it every week, because I'm going to win. So I know people hear me on my podcast of therapy like, what? Because I'm going to win. Because I don't care about any of that shit. I have to deal with some of the consequences mentally and emotionally, but that's healing forward. That's living in the future. What person do I want to be? What goals do I want? What house do I want? Where do I want my daughter? How do I want my marriage to look? How do I want people to view me? How do I want to treat people that I love? What value do I want to bring? What do I want to create? I live in the future. But to live in the future, you have to be cognitive about what's going on. So when we look at doing hard things and our circle, you have to realize that these things are built up in the macro moments of doing the hard things on a daily basis over long periods of time in all aspects of a whole person paradigm. Leave your spirituality out and see what happens. My oldest daughter's an atheist, but she's spiritual. She takes care of herself spiritually. She does her yoga. She meditates. It doesn't have to be God. But leave your spiritual side out of it, because we are spiritual beings. We have an ego. If you don't believe we have an ego, the world is flat. Leave out your mentality and see what happens. Leave out your mental and your spiritual and see what happens. You're going to be just as dumb, and it's dumb. It's dumb not to get smarter. It's dumb. That's dumb. Get smarter. Information right now is more readily available on a multiple of hundreds of thousands than it's ever been in human history. AI right now is at a level of top quality legal, top quality mental, top quality problem solving. It's like information for you not to be getting smarter right now is ridiculous. But try leaving your mental and your spiritual out for a year and see what happens. You'll be dumber and you'll be sicker. Yeah, what was yours? And left behind. Try leaving your mental, your spiritual, and your physical out and see what you look like in a year. This is what people do, gang. This is the 99%. They're just checked out. So think about this. And I have another training, and the training is, we're not going to go into it, but it's where are you spending your time, your money, and your emotional energy. And I have a chart, and it says on your family, on your education, on your spiritual health, on your physical health, and on your business wellness. Where are you spending your time, money, and emotional energy? Because most people want all this stuff, but they're spending their time on the TV, they're spending their money on a bunch of crap that doesn't matter, and they're spending their emotional energy feeling drained because they're not fulfilled, because they're not. Where do I spend my time, money, and emotional energy? On my daughter. Every aspect of her life. Her education, her fitness, our daddy-daughter dates, the times we wake up in the morning. Everything I do is focused around spending positive time, emotional energy, and money on my daughter, on my wife, on my business. Just this book cost me money. This video cost me money. This is my life force. This is my time, my most valuable asset on the planet that I can never get back. I'm 50. I don't get this time back, but I'm spending it here in a valuable way on you and my team and the things that, right? And that's my emotional energy. I put time into this training, money into this training, focus into this training so that I can bring it forth, but I also live it, right? And so this is that cognitive dissonance thing. So when we look at these things, and we'll finish here, but consistency as hardship is the only way to true success. You have to evaluate what you're doing in your life. And I'm just going to tell you, when you want to quit, don't. Go harder. Read more. Listen more. Knock more. Train more. Write more. Do more. Figure out how to get to the top of this Everest, this one. And then realize cognitively that when I get there, there's another one. And that's the beautiful part of life. That's why we're here. We're here to have the human experience. We've been gifted the ability to think and to feel and have choice. We're in the greatest country on the planet, in my experience, in my opinion. We can do and be whatever we want. You can get loans for shit and do stuff and be free and say stuff. Have opinions. You can start a business on LegalZoom for $499 and go out and figure out how to market it and sell some shit and pay, you can do whatever you want. Do it. But what I don't have anymore in anything that I start is uninformed optimism. I go into everything that I'm doing with informed pessimism. I know that anything hard that is worth doing is going to be hard. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't know, and it's going to be challenging as shit, and I'm not going to be able to expect everything, and nobody's going to be able to tell me everything that I'm going to need to do to be successful at it, because there's a lot that they did to be successful, including their personality traits and their gift to gab, and all this stuff. And when I'm getting into something, I don't look at it like, this will be easy. I'm going to be like, this is going to be hard. But I believe I can do it. So whatever comes my way, I'm going to figure it out. Because my purpose is big. And so my paradigm has shifted. I don't live in that circle anymore because I'm a different person. So part of this is in the becoming, right? And there's another training we do, Becoming the One. What's his name? Ed. There's a speech that says, at some point in every person's life that has wealth, mental, physical, spiritual, financial wealth, somebody came along in that family history and they were the one that changed the lineup of that family, that stopped the excuses, that stopped the poverty, that stopped the lack of education. Somebody comes along. I'm the one. So part of becoming that is the becoming. So embrace the suck, do these things, all right? That's all I got. Love you guys. I'll turn this off. We can do a couple. I try and get these out on YouTube. We can do a couple